I want to say before I start this one that I did get this cool poster from going to see Black Widow. The poster is probably the best thing that I got out of the movie. I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, Black Widow. I've just come back from seeing it. It's fine. It's fine. I came out of Black Widow feeling kind of the same way that I felt about Black Panther, and that I felt about Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that I felt about a lot of Marvel movies so far that haven't been Thor Ragnarok, that haven't been Infinity War or Endgame. I just felt like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to remember it though. And that's the biggest problem with this movie, is that I'm not going to remember anything. And it has that problem where it came out way too late. It's like, first of all, the movie takes place in between Civil War and Infinity War. And that would be fine if the movie came out in between those two. The movie still would have been a bit disappointing if it came out at that time, but it still would have been fine. It would have been better than it is now, because here all of the stakes are lost, because you know Black Widow's not going to die. She's basically invincible throughout this entire film. Even the stuff that happens to her, even if you didn't know, oh, she's going to die in Endgame, even if you didn't know that, you would still think, oh yeah, she's invincible, because this, that, and the other happened to her, and she's fine, and she's okay from a car crash, from, you know, everything that happens to her in this film, and she survives all of that. It's like, yeah, she's basically superhuman. She doesn't have any powers, but she's basically superhuman. She's like Domino. She has the ability. She's like extremely lucky. Let's just say that. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie where she should have died. Especially even Yelena Belova. She should have died at several points in this movie. Every character in this movie should have died at several points in this movie and don't. And I feel like this is the most cookie cutter MCU movie that I feel like I've watched. Probably because there have been so many MCU movies that watching this, it does feel very much like someone got, like, if you're British, you'll get this. But if you're making juice, if you're making squash or anything, and you have like the pure squash, which is like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, or Captain America: Civil War, or Captain America: The First Avenger, and then you're pouring in water, and then that then finished drink is the Black Widow movie. It's just watered down good MCU movie. It feels very much like Phase 1. It feels very much like Phase 1. I want to talk about some of the stuff that I do like. David Harbour is great in this. I mean, he's great in everything, but he's really good in this. I feel like the funny his character isn't funny because what he's saying is funny. It's funny because it's David Harbour's delivery, and he's like leagues away the best thing about this film, which I thought he would be anyway, because it's David Harbour. But they don't really do enough with his character. It would have been cool to have him maybe in an after credits scene see Captain America, because it's obvious that he never actually met Captain America throughout like the film. Like, he plays out that he's like Captain America's nemesis. They probably never met. So it would have been cool if Black Widow was like, yeah, I called in a few favors. Here's Steve. And then they can have their like Rocky 3, like the ending of Rocky 3 moment. That would have been cool. It would have been cool if like he had some more intimate moments with Black Widow and with Yelena. That would have been really good, but most of the time he's played for a laugh, which is fine, but it's like, I wish there was a bit of a deeper thing there. Like there's something that Jeremy Johns said in his review is that there's a lot of deflecting with jokes in Marvel movies, in this especially, and yeah, I 100% get that. There is a lot of deflecting with jokes in this film. The other thing that really aggravates me is Taskmaster. Taskmaster is not Taskmaster in this film. It's like that Mandarin moment where it's like, I wish they were like at the end, oh yeah, this is not the real Taskmaster. After credits scene, they have Anthony Masters show up and be like, oh yeah, they're cramping my style, or they used my name and they're doing this shit. Like, that would have been cooler than what we had here, which was just generic lackey that kind of has a twist, but it's not an interesting twist, is what I'm trying to get at. Some people may think it's an interesting twist. It's not an interesting twist. I mean, I saw it coming. I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna do the old switcheroo with this, and it's not. There's no development with Taskmaster. It's not an interesting villain. Taskmaster is not an interesting villain in this. They do that Terminator scene, which is kind of cool. They have that starting bridge fight, which is kind of cool. And then there's the end scene, which is too bombastic for its own good. It's too out there for its own good that you don't feel the stakes, and that's kind of my biggest problem with where I see Marvel movies going. I see like the final fights getting so big that you just don't feel any stakes. You don't care because you know the character's gonna get out of it fine, or even if a character does die, it's not gonna affect you because there's so much going on. There's so much shit going on. That's where Shang-Chi. I was waiting for Shang-Chi to come out and be a more grounded movie. It may still be that, but from the trailer, like, they have Abomination fighting Wong, and like, hopefully that movie is a better thing than this. Hopefully that movie is a better movie than this, but it doesn't. I'm worried that this is the direction that Marvel movies are going in, because it's the direction that they've been going in for a while. They've been like, there's just no stakes with this film, and maybe that is because you already know what's happened afterwards, but that's the biggest thing. Taskmaster, the twist isn't a twist. I mean, some people, if you don't know who Taskmaster is, you may get something out of that. If you do know who Taskmaster is, this is an aberration. This is horrid what they do to the character in this. It's not great. It's just boring. It's not. This isn't the movie where you should have used Taskmaster. Taskmaster would have been better in the Hawkeye show. Would have been better in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Would have been better in Shang-Chi. Would have been better in one of the Netflix shows. Would have been better anywhere than this, where you would have been able to utilize that power set and make it cool. Here it's not cool. It's not a cool power set. It's, oh, they watched all of the Marvel movies and now they know all of your moves. So it's basically just the final boss of a fighting game. That's not interesting. I don't find that interesting. The suit design is fine. It's just the more you see it, the more it looks like a Power Rangers villain. Overall, I don't hate the film. I can't bring myself to hate this movie. It's because I like the marvel of it all. The after credits scene did win me back a bit with the promise of what it's delivering. I feel like if you're watching this and you're not a comic book fan, then that end credit scene probably won't do anything for you. If you're watching this and you haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier yet, that after credit scene won't do anything for you. But because I know that it's leading towards Thunderbolts, because I know that there's something going, that there's a direction from that, and because I know the direction from Loki, I'm excited to see what's coming next. But that's the only thing. When the best thing about your movie was a secondary character and an end credit scene, you failed. When the best thing about your movie is the poster that I got, you've kind of failed. Again, I don't hate Black Widow, and I feel like when I'm gonna come back to it, and when I watch like the MCU movies in chronological order, if this came out in 2016, 2017, I would probably have enjoyed it more. If this came out before Black Widow had died in Endgame, if this came out before Infinity War, it would have been an infinitely better movie, because the stakes would have been there. I feel like even then, the stakes wouldn't have been there because of how outrageous that ending is. But the movie's fine. It's very generic Marvel movie. It's generic Marvel movie, but if you've enjoyed all of the Marvel movies so far, you'll enjoy this one. If you don't enjoy Marvel movies, this isn't the one that's going to tip you over the edge. I feel like even if you do enjoy Marvel movies, this might be the one that you're like, yeah, that one kinda sucks. That's my opinion anyway. I still had fun in some places. It's just I'm starting to see the tropes, I'm starting to see the things that the MCU does that annoys me, that kind of grates on me, and the Taskmaster thing, that is kind of just a character that they've wasted. Either they actually bring proper Taskmaster in at a later date in one of the shows, because I would prefer him in one of the shows where you have that full like multiple episodes to show off their skill set. But because they put Taskmaster in Black Widow, I feel like that has kind of just wasted a character, in my opinion. But I do like the movie. I like more parts than I dislike, if that makes sense. It's fun, dumb, action schlock. It's just, if you are a diehard Marvel fan, if you like Taskmaster, you're probably going to get annoyed by this movie, or by the portrayal of Taskmaster in this movie. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Black Widow. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.